is marked as Withy Copse on the OS map. On the Overton Anglo-Saxon Charter, as part of the boundary, it mentions something along, I'm doing from memory, but something along the lines of Withy Mere Haga, something along those lines, which means the Withy Pond hedge or enclosure. I'm speculating. This is the only piece of the only place where a stream flows, well, there's any enough water to keep withies, which are willow trees. We still use the word withy, but it's this is the only place anywhere near the last point on that charter that could grow withies, but I can't see any here. I can see some birches and silver birches and things like that. I can't see any, even oak. I can't see any, and hazel, but I can't see any withies. So that's interesting in itself. But I wanted to come and have a look before I embarrass myself. But I still think, not that it matters to anybody, but I still think it could be the next point on the charter. After my second to last video, I talked about the Wandike, and one of the next points after that is, I believe, here. It's now it's obviously not a withy copse anymore. It's an oak and hazel wood, and the Mira in the charter may refer to, if it is this place, it may refer to a Mara, which is a boundary. There is a boundary, quite a heavy boundary ditch. It's not part of the fort, though. Well, no, it's attached to the fort that I was going on about in the last video. But it leads off from it. It looks like a sort of demarcation boundary, or quite a large. It is, big bank and ditch. So the ditch is on this side, and so it's facing to the north, and the bank is to the south. So that suggests that this boundary, the builders or the defenders of this boundary were to the south, that they were defending against the north. Now, where there is sort of equality between communities, it would be a ditch on both sides. So it does. We can make suppositions about the relative power of, let's call them states, little petty kingdoms, or whatever, statelets. Here we have another pond. I mean, we can't be sure. These are Iron Age ponds. A lot of antiquarians and archaeologists think they were, and they call them dew ponds. Nothing to do with dew. They're rain ponds. But you'd store in the winter, for the summer for your animals, and they're not. Again, this one's outside. There's two settlements here within a mile of each other, and these are not inside those settlements. a video or a couple of videos below, I talked about hundreds, and we're crossing hundreds are an administrative. I put my teeth back in. Administrative division of a county in England. They go back 1,000 years. They died out in the century before last, and they are the men of all the villages around would meet at a location, and the name of that location would give the name of the 100. So we were just in Kinward Stone, and that was the stone of Cwnweard, some chap from the Dark Ages. Now we're moving into Swanborough 100. That would have been in Old English something like Swanberg or something like that. If I've got it wrong, I'll put a little some text in. But the men of that 100, all the villages around that 100 would have met at Swanborough Tump, which is a couple of miles to the south. Whereas the neighbouring 100 would meet at the Kinward Stone. It's all very picturesque. Those who are into the Dark Ages should really get into that sort of thing. Anyway, let's see what else we've got. Just crossing this road here on old maps is called the Portway, and you know if it's called the Port. There's several portways in England. If it's called the Portway, it's old. So port, I believe, is French, I think. Basically means entrance. This is the road that leads up to the entrance of the city. Marlborough isn't a city, but it's a borough. But further along, just a couple of miles in that direction, on the same alignment, there's pretty much the same road. It is the same road. It is called Hare Street. So, but that name can push it back even further, up to 1,000 years further back. Because you may have seen some other of my videos where I go on about Hare-pathers. And Hare means army, and path means path. So we've got a Hare Street. We're probably talking at least Anglo-Saxon. The word street could go further, but I haven't seen any evidence of that. I think this road is a Hare-pather, and it goes back to Anglo-Saxon times because of that name on that map. But I can't prove it. But the Victoria County history, which is full of academics, they suspect it's a very old road. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, leave comments. I particularly like comments. I like joining in the conversation. And if you've enjoyed this video, please check out my Giant's Grave video from earlier on in the week, and the previous one before that, the one on Martinzell Fort. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Ta-da for now.